With a 32nd pick, the Ravens selected safety Matt Elam out of Florida. Very exciting day here in Baltimore. So, Kevin Byrne, you just came out of that room. Kind of take me through that entire atmosphere of what tonight was like and what led to drafting Matt Elam.
Well, it was rather calm, and as we got closer to a pick at 32, Ozzie and Eric and Steve Bisciotti actually were involved in conversations about did they need to move up one or two or maybe even three spots to make sure they got either Matt Elam or another player who obviously we didn't select but was still up there when we had our choice at 32. And so Ozzie did call one team. They said they were interested. The team said they would call when they were on the clock. We waited. The team did not call. And then they just focused on, okay, who would take him? Would that team take him? Would Dallas take him? Who would go up and trade for that? And then when we got the good news that Dallas didn't take him and that Matt Elam was ours, Ozzie decided, he said, why don't we wait just a couple minutes to see if we get a call, and to see if somebody wants to come up to 32. Maybe somebody's in love with one of the quarterbacks or another player, and we might be able to get something extra for somebody who really wants to have a certain player here before the start of tomorrow. So he waited maybe till about the 6-minute mark of our 10-minute time, and then he finally said, it looks like no one's calling. And then he goes, let's take Matt Elam. And then all the room said yes, and so they had called Matt Elam earlier, just when the clock had started, to make sure he was okay, make sure he's still alive, and told Matt, we're going to call you back. And they called him back, and Ozzie said there's lots of noise in the background, and he asked Matt about how excited he was to come, and was he ready to start and be a Raven and replace a player who was pretty good, mentioning Ed Reed. And Matt said he was very, very willing. And Ozzie then suggested to him that he probably not pick number 20 to wear. And so but the room was very, very excited. There are a number of people in the department, the scouting department, over the last couple of weeks, when you say, hey, if your dream came true, who would you like to see there at 32? And they all would kind of say, well, we kind of think we know what's going on, but if we think we know what's going on and we think a player can get to us, it would be the safety Elam from Florida. So for a number of those guys, I know the dream came true.
And Kevin, at what point did you and the room kind of realize that there's a chance that Elam could be there? Because I saw mock drafts predicting him as high as the late teens, early 20s. So at what point did they say, hey, there's a chance that he could be there at 32?
Well, when you're in the room, what they do a lot of is they're going, okay, now would Minnesota take him? Because you hear, oh, Minnesota's trading up there. Then New England's trading the pick. Well, who's going to go in there? Who wants a safety? And then they have the list of where the players visited. Well, did he visit that place? And so there's a lot of that speculation going, and they're saying, well, what safeties are on the roster right now? And so, Vince Newsom or George Coquina steps up. And so they kind of calculate, can we sit and are we going to get them? So there's some of that going on. And sometimes it's just good fortune in that you're hoping that it happens. I've seen it both ways, where the player they love all of a sudden gets picked 2 picks before or 1 pick before. But tonight, the pick was there, and we took it at 32. And there are a lot of smiling coaches and personnel people right now. I think they'll sleep well tonight.
This is definitely not that's the case. And just the last thing, Kevin, what can we expect for tomorrow? Obviously, the book, the script has to change pretty quickly. They can celebrate this one tonight and then get right back to work tomorrow.
Well, they're going to, as Eric DeCosta just said, they're going to redo the board a little bit, and they won't change it much. But I've seen the list of 150 draftable players or 180 draftable players. I forgot how many there are on there. There are a lot of good players left. This is a deep draft, and they were even talking at one point about, well, if we trade back, can we get a third round? Because that third round is going to be strong. And so the second and third rounds, we'll get good players tomorrow. And it'll be exciting to see if somebody as good as Elam drops again to us.
Well, I know Ravens fans are very excited about that. So, Kevin, thank you very much for your insight.